Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Gold and silver.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Killing spree.
They're toxic with the Phoenix burn. That Enigma just falls instantly. He needs to get BKB and Blink Dagger as soon as possible. It's so good in this game. Weaver going for that Maelstrom after the Midas. This is one of the builds that we see on Weavers right now. It's either the Blightstone plus the Desolator, so you have a lot of minus armor, or this other build with the Midas and Maelstrom, which does allow you to scale much better. And CIS teams, they usually actually play Weaver with this way. They get the Midas and the Maelstrom.
Bottom lane, Zai. Gonna get some of that strength. There's the damage down from him, but we'll be able to TP out.
Sadly, it was only the Razor there, so after that, Atos has been popped. He can't really prevent Tirsa from porting. In the grand scale, however, Ramses, he is in their jungle. He is pressuring them a little bit, farming a very deep spot.
Well, everyone here just bro is in the jungle farming. Ramses does need to be a little bit careful as Zai finds him over here. We'll land that root.
Oh, the root
he
is
can
on.
time-lapse himself away, but there's a lot of other people waiting around here, so he's got to scoochie that booty out of there.
Actually, as you said, everyone is farming. That's
Everyone.
what happens when you have this hub-like composition of 5 cores. You have this Doom position 5. What happens when you have this? Pasha with the Vlads building into that 4-staff, it seems, afterwards. Like, this Tidehunter is not having a game. And honestly, if he had a good start, he could do so much versus the PL. Unfortunately for him, he was playing against an Ursa.
And that Ursa just picked himself up a blink. So I think we're going to start seeing some big movement coming on here. Ramses just, you know, saying hello to the Phantom Lancer.
I mean, he's saying hello to a Phantom Lancer, but at the same time, he's not farming. He's wasting a lot of his time on these movements that look more like bounty hunter movements than Weaver movements. You know, scouting them out, giving some info to his team, but for what? He needs to be the one that farms.
Right. Says, please don't take my farm, Mr. Solo.
Get out of here, Solo.
Yeah, this farm popped too. Again,
Radiance build on no one. Alright, this is a way of dealing with the Phantom Lancer. You get that Atos, you get the Radiance on the Razor. You also have your passive that procs. There is a build, I believe it included Octarine Core as well. I hope it's not gonna be it in this game, but it might be. And it is very decent versus the PL. And then you have the Weaver versus the Ursa and the Viper. So they are itemizing in a good way on their cores.
yeah, I'm not familiar with the Radiance build on the Razor.
Yeah, it was tested out by multiple players once the change to his passive happened. We haven't really seen it in the pro scene, at least I haven't, but it's been around in pubs at least. It is alright versus the PL. Versus the PL, Radiance is always good. That's why Nyx used to work so well versus him. You get that Radiance, you get that level 20 talent, and he can't really kill you any longer. Radiance is always good.
I mean, if there was ever a game where you would try out a pub build, this seems to be the one.
Because you have a pub draft, right?
Yeah. Oh, Puppy's gonna walk into a lot of heroes. Tries to save himself, but just a quick pick.
Yeah, they should continue. This is not enough. They need more.
Oh, they're thinking about it. They need to catch someone, though. Wants to be with Nether Toxin right up onto the high ground here. Nisha is gonna just try to burn down Solo. They use the Ravage. Solo's still gonna fall. And they did manage to get the Doom off, though, so they're gonna take down Yasuo. There'll be no egg in this fight. We've got a lot of damage getting sapped off of mid 1 right now. Oh, there's a black hole coming out. Gonna be able to get 3 of them. Pasha just walking away. Oh, Nisha's burning down on the back end. Zai having to run himself back. They'll be able to find a kill on Nisha. Zai, he was feeling like a really strong bear. The Atos comes out.
The Atos does come down out, but
He's gonna go back in. Yeah. Is he feeling greedy?
He has Oracle behind him. That's the only reason why he can't go back in. But Roger just getting there in the right time, in the right place, getting that massive black hole out. Solo, he is a position 5. He did die there, but he did manage to use his Doom on the Phoenix before he used his Egg, which was massive for that fight. These two supports, like Phoenix and Doom, before he used his ag, they can scale so well. Phoenix, he has a gold per minute talent. He also farms very well, outpushes the lanes, and at the same time you have the Doom with the Devour, built-in Midas pretty much. So we're gonna see these position 5 and 4 scale into pretty strong cores very soon.
Look forward to it. Double damage rune is available top. And that's the perfect time for Zai.
There's no Ravage, there's no Black Hole. You have an Ursa, you just go into the pit.
Well, that was the thing I was worried about when we were looking at the draft coming out from Virtus Pro, is the fact that, you know, they have these really great ultimates coming out. But if you use it all in one shot, then what does Secret have to be afraid of?
Oh, that's very well said. There isn't really a whole lot that they have to be afraid of, especially right now, as their VP, they do not have the items that are necessary to win these team fights without those big ultimates. However, you do have that Radiance right now. Now you have to tank up a little bit on that Razor. 2 Raid Bands and Atos, it's decent, but it's not good. Not any longer. Not 21 minutes in. Weaver did pick up that Dragonlance, so he tanked up a little bit. He's gonna be able to take down that egg as long as no one is controlling him.
He is farming quite well, both of the cores on the side of Virtus Pro. 10k net worth on the Razor, 9.3 on the Weaver.
The Upstore is doing so well too. As that Void Stone needs like 2.7k more, and he's gonna have a full Hex completed on the Phoenix. Once that Hex is completed, that Weaver has to be careful. He does not have a Linkens. If they manage to catch him with the Hex, you have the Blink on the Ursa, you can take him down.
Spurs him as fast as he can. Port's gonna come out on the top tower though. And they go, they use the Doom again. Ramses, he's got a decent amount of damage. They'll find a kill on the Ursa, mid one. He's using the Viper Strike on Solo. Slowly but surely, Ram's coming back around again. They're trying to go for the Oracle, Puppy in for Trumbull. There's a Ravage coming out from Pasha. They should be able to find it. Yeah, they'll take the kill over on Oracle. Mid one in for so much trouble. Flap those little wings, mid one, run! Because Ramses is coming for you right now. We'll go pop the mech. We'll be able to get the root up, but it's not going to be enough.
They just took that fight off of one big ultimate, and that's the Ravage. They did not use the Black Hole. Enigma did die, but that was so good for VP.
That's what I want to see from VP. I want to see them take objectives where they don't, or rather these fights, right? Where they don't have to use everything. There's going to be that threat always, because it's huge, right? The threat of the Ravage, of the Black Hole.
Of the Doom that was used as well on the Ursa at the start of the fight.
Right.
You're completely right there. Well, they have so many spells that they can use. They can choose which team fight they're going to use what. So.
But you're constantly thinking about your positioning. It's a very scary thing. In some ways, you know, I forget, you know, I was talking with another analyst at one point. The threat of the Black Hole, of the Ravage, is sometimes worse than the actual thing.
Just holding on to it. Just
have to constantly be thinking of it.
Just holding on to that Black Hole makes the enemy team play in a much different way. It has always been like that. Playing Enigma versus Rubicore Vengeful prevents them from swapping anything else, prevents them from stealing anything else until they see that Black Hole. And with so many massive spells on the side of VP, like, it's on Puppy and his Oracle to first and foremost save his cores, but I do not know who's gonna stop that Black Hole later on.
That is the question. Well, eventually, you know, I'm sure we'll see an Abyssal Blade get picked up on Ursa, but
eventually that will happen. But
I'm sure he's gonna be a big target to be stuck in that Black Hole, so bit of an issue with that.
MC is moving towards that Mjolnir. Good fight right now. And as long as they have no catch for him, he can do exactly this, what he's doing. He's basically, when you're a core and you're able to farm on their side of the map, what that means is that your other cores can farm a little bit freer on their side of the map, on your side of the map, as they have more space. You aren't really all clogging up the Radiant jungle. And that's good with heroes such as Weaver, with these cores that have high mobility. As long as you're not afraid of being killed, obviously. And he should be a little bit more careful now, as there's Zai with the Basher picked up.
He's going to be hoping for some lucky bashes, that's for sure.
Yeah, that bursted bash into perma-bash is always scary. BKB almost completed on Enigma, needs like 100 gold more.
That's going to be scary. Saw what Roger can do if he's given a good setup. He's very patient, good positioning.
Blink as well to really do insane black hole without any setup.
Well, I mean, he didn't even.
He didn't
have it last time, and that was
I don't think
pretty
they're gonna
good.
allow it again. That's all I mean.
Oh,
the Atos there.
they've got the Atos, they've got the Nether Toxin, they've got the burst. Can they take down Ramses? No, he's gonna be able to go. Time lapse back, but they've got the Ravage out. They baited it using the dude. There's the black hole coming out from Roger. They'll take down Puppey. Mid one is stuck in the middle of a lot of unfriendly people. There's gonna be the buyback though. They managed to root over here onto Nisha. Roger trying to run away from Zai. He doesn't want this. The first hit bash though coming through. Egg will get used as well. Roger's still trying to run himself away from this pit here. The rest of the team still following. They're hoping to grab him. They've got the TP. They need a bash. They don't have it. He's out.
All right, so they lose Weaver, but they do force buybacks, and they get Viper. I think they're fine with this fight. They did use a lot of their big ultimates, but if you are VP, you're satisfied still, as that Aegis just did get reclaimed.
Now you said there's no way they let him get a black hole like that again.
Yeah,
bro.
and it happens.
You know? Although Roger now in for trouble as Nisha has found himself. This Enigma will just take him out.
Yeah, Pasha has to be careful. He doesn't have a port either, and they're circling around him like sharks. If anyone spots him, he might die here.
Well, I think the Oracle saw him, but...
It's nighttime. I don't think so.
That's
That
true.
ward is Radiant. Yeah, he didn't really get in range. But he is a tanky watermelon, so it's hard to kill him. We have here. Have Pasha on the offensive, actually.
Got Solo nearby.
Solo?
Hoping to maybe... Yeah, they'll cancel out the TP. Nisha gonna get rooted into place, and no one. And Pasha. And Mount, and even Ramses joining in on the fun on that.
It's strange seeing Nisha die like that. He's usually the one that farms. Like, not really carefully, but he farms to his limits. He doesn't really get caught in enemy jungle like that very often.
I mean, the pressure's on right now, too.
Radiant's BKB completed on no one.
Yeah, he's been just farming non-stop. Every time that Eye of the Storm has been up, you've just been seeing him bounce around from camps.
I just love the way he adapted to this game with his item build. That Radiance, it was ridiculed by many players before, but in this game versus the PL, you do what you must, and that's what these big players do. They just itemize properly. It doesn't matter that the item might look silly on the hero. If you needed that game, you go for it. Yapzor, however, is gonna get that hex very soon.
He's getting so close to it, although they're putting the pressure on the mid tower. Will force out the fort.
What do they have? They have the Doom, they have the Ravage, they don't have Enigma ulti. But still, you have two big ultimates to work with.
Okay, the Atos is gonna get used on no one.
I believe there's a Force on Tide, there's a BKB on him, so it's very hard for them to just rush into them. They need to find the pick-off first. Zai is gonna rush into them though.
He's looking, he's hoping to find someone over here. Haven't quite found it. Over Viper. Gonna get Atos out the BKB pop from no one. They're gonna try to burst him down. Zai jumping forward though. The follow up with the Ravage. And they're gonna hold him there. The black hole again. Zapzor is just out of here. Zai is out. Mid one now trying to stay alive, but the force down comes out. Can they burst him down fast enough? It's not looking good here. Nisha now stuck with a lot of unfriendly faces.
Ursa bot back. I think you just get out now. If you are VP, you might even turn, but you need to go back a little bit at least. You force the buyback from the Ursa, there's absolutely no necessity to push that high ground. Wait your ultimates up again. Yapzor, man, he plays so many heroes so well, and with Phoenix he's finding farm, but he's not finding the eggs. He's not finding the teamfight presence that he definitely needs to have with this Phoenix. He's being caught, like with Dooms, with Black Holes, with Ravages. As a Phoenix, like, you cannot allow that to happen. You have a repositioning tool in your hero, you have that dive, you need to use it in a little bit more of a careful way.
It feels like they're getting the initiation. Like, that's a big problem right now. Virtus Pro, they, you know, one person gets maybe, looked at, and it's usually the Razor. They try to jump on him, but the follow-up, the reinitiation is just absurd. And I think that's one of the problems. I feel like maybe, Secret felt like they were doing a lot better when Zai, was the first one in. He was getting quick picks, and then you can follow up with the rest of the team. But it's just not happening that way for them right now.
He did try that this time around. He was rushing in. He was going to high ground to get some info to maybe find a target, but VP was just a little bit faster than him this time around.
Well, they tried to jump. Was it? I'm trying to think. Was the Razor jumped on first?
No.
Did
Razor
jump
the
on the? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So,
Razor Atos the Viper went on him, popped the BKB, and then unfortunately for Yapzor, he got clipped by that Ravage, and they have no team fight. Their team fight is attack. And honestly, I'm not saying it's an easy Phoenix game because they have no stuns on the side of Secret when you think about it. Besides that Basher and the Atos, all right, Atos and Purge are roots. The only stun that you have is the Supernova Egg and the Bash. So that egg isn't really easy to pull off, but still, with this Hex perhaps, maybe he can dive in, Hex that Weaver, initiate the fight that way. If you take the Weaver out instantly, maybe you have a shot, but look at VP. They're the
so
ones.
aggressive. They don't have any of these big ultimates. They have Doom. All right, never mind. They have Doom. They have Ravage backup. So they're using. I love this. I love that. You know, they're being very efficient. Every time they've got one of these big ultimates up, they're looking for a fight. They're looking for a pick. Dancemancer has just finished a Satanic though, so they need to make sure that he's locked up and not allowed to hit anything.
If you remember that Naga OD game, the power of that Naga was the fact that Naga created so much space for that OD to hit. However, in this game, they don't have that OD, they have a Viper. The majority of your damage is gonna come from the Ursa and the PL. And Doom has a completed Crimson Guard. That PL isn't really gonna hit. With the Crimson Guard and Radiance, the only thing left for VP to purchase versus the PL is the Shivas. Once they have that item, his damage is gonna be not there. And with this Aegis, they know it. They know that Secret cannot fight them right now.
This is very scary. They smoked up too. It felt like Secret wanted to make something happen. At the same time, though, of course, VP, they smoked up, actually twice, right? They smoked up out of their base, wanted to see if they could get a pick, and then they just smoked right into the Roche pit because no one was showing.
No one was showing. They kind of realized, all right, these guys are just scared of us. They're basically just hiding away on their side of the map, which is true. Secret is doing exactly that. You have these two cores on the bottom lane, but the three of them, they're just hanging about that high ground mid.
So what's the best course of action? Because I feel like they cannot take a team fight.
No, remember, the panel said VP has 5 cores, and those 5 cores worked out. They got 32 minutes into the game, and when you have 5 cores 32 minutes into the game, it's very difficult to play against them. With this BKB on Ursa, perhaps with a good initiation from the Hex, maybe they can take down one target, but versus the Aegis, I just don't see it. I think they have to prolong the game a bit more.
Okay, we'll get the Atos off immediately at Ramsey. Nisha is trying to clear up this creep wave. Starts to run after this Razor, chipping him down. BKB is gonna get popped from no one. Yapzor,
He does have cheese.
back.
That's a lot of damage dealt to no one, though. They have to be careful.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Yapzor needs to get a good egg off here. But
They're gonna back out.
no middle.
They used Crimson. They used their utility items. I think they just back out. They wait a little bit. You don't want to use that cheese like that either. And they were a little bit scared, honestly, because that was a lot of damage done to Razor in a very short period of time. So maybe even wait for another item on no one. Meanwhile, Roger just building towards that refresher, it seems. Why not? There's absolutely no ways of stopping that black hole, so.
And these black holes have been so on point. They've been absolutely on point this entire time, so. You know, you can have fun with one, why not have fun with two?
Yes, that's what I say.
Oh dear.
No, I play Enigma a lot, and like buying that refresher later on in the game is just amazing. Like the first time you do it is actually so good, as you pop that refresher, they don't maybe notice it, not all of them at least. You pop the refresher, you jump in, you have the 2 black holes, you win a team fight off of that. Especially even if they pick you off after the first black hole, you can maybe buy back into it.
Yapzor gonna have to swoop away. BKB did get picked up on the Ursa now. Feels so, like you can feel the tension, right? Like you can feel like Secret, you know, They're trying to figure out what's the best way to approach this. VP is just being, you know, very patient. They know that they're really in control right now. This 5-core lineup has worked out for them.
All right, Nisha is working slowly towards that butterfly, but he's gonna have a rough time hitting anyone. They're gonna maybe have a little bit of a rougher time hitting him through that evasion, but versus the Radiance, versus the Crimson.
Is this one of these situations where you don't want to let them get to your base?
No, I think you're fine with defending high ground on the side of Secret. It's not really necessary for you to fight anywhere else. It's a little bit easier to position that egg on the high ground, and it's also much harder for Roger to get a good black hole off. Plus the Doom, if it's not really on a target that's controlled, the target can just run into the fountain, heal up, re-engage. So if you are Secret, you're happy fighting on the high ground, I believe.
Battle is going to be coming to them very soon. They did just pick up a Heaven's Halberd. Make does Ursa have some issues too?
With the level 17 on Zor, with the mid one Nether Toxin and the Aghanims, they do have the damage, but you can see no one is suffering. Like, he can't really keep hitting these towers.
Wait for that perfect position. Tower will go down. We'll use the Atos, immediately on the Doom. BKB getting popped from side. They're all grouped up over here. There's a trade coming out for Solo. They'll take out the Phoenix though. There's a black hole again coming out from Roger. They grab it in one. They grab the Phantom Lizard. Nisha, he's out of here. They're gonna just chase him down. Right there now, the Ursa's getting rooted up. They're gonna just chip him down as well.
Oh, the buybacks coming out.
They gotta have the buybacks. They gotta come back here. Caps are trying to slow him down with those flame spirits. Nisha chasing after Pasha. Has to be careful again. They just bought back. Puppy just gonna get chased down by no one. That Hex not gonna be enough.
That's a dieback right there.
That's 3 people on the side. How do they defend this Lizard?
They don't have the egg. The PL is the only one alive that can do something.
Oh no! Oh no! YapzOr Flow. He's not gonna make it out.
Flies the way to his death, and I believe Secret's gonna be flying home too.
There it is, Virtus Pro! They take the series.
This game, we beat Drew Device CIS Dodes in the last game of the series.
Word.
Who cares? We're gonna do what we do best in the CIS. We're gonna pick 5 cores and go straight at you. We don't really care. We're gonna have a position 5 Doom. Okay, look at Ramses and how happy he is, and I'd be happy too. He's in the...
I mean, it looked a little rough early on for sure.